Season 2 of Hijack takes us out of the sky and into a very different kind of crisis. While it keeps attention high, it also makes some bold storytelling choices. Now that the season is fully out, let's break down what worked, what didn't, and I'll tell you why it's worth your time. My name is Sasha, and this is my recap and review of Hijack season. If you enjoy Apple TV breakdowns, recaps, and reviews, that's exactly what I do on this channel, so consider subscribing. The seasons open with Sam in Berlin. He's walking through the city, getting into a U-Bahn station, and from there, you can immediately tell he's on edge. He's scanning his surroundings, studying the other passengers before boarding the train. At one point, he accused a fellow passenger of acting suspicious, and two police officers who happened to be in the train removed the man at the next station, only for us to realize it was a distraction, a calculated move to get the officers off the train. Meanwhile, the train conductor, Otto, is clearly uncomfortable. He looks sick to his stomach, hesitant, almost ready to back out. At one point, he even steps off the train and hides in a station bathroom before forcing himself to return to the conductor's cabin. The entire first episode builds tension around the idea that someone else is about to hijack the train. But then comes the twist. Sam is the one orchestrating it, with Otto's help. He contacts rail control, calmly announces that he's taking over the train. His demand? He wants the authorities to track down John Bailey Brown, who he believes is somewhere in Germany, and he wants them to provide him with a proof of life, a picture. The German authorities respond quickly. Their first move is to block the train's path by leaving an empty train on the tracks ahead. That leads the first real showdown. Sam sends a passenger, Freddy, off the train with a suitcase, implying that if the blocked train isn't moved, the suitcase will explode, killing the hostage. When the authorities refuse to comply, Sam escalates. A fire, or at least heavy smoke, breaks out in the station, convincing everyone that the suitcase had exploded, and that Sam was serious. The authorities finally move the train. And once Sam and Otto are back in motion, they make a brief stop to retrieve Freddy, revealing that the suitcase was a bluff all along. But then we learn something even bigger. Sam isn't the mastermind. He's being coerced. He's being forced into this hijack to get proof of life that John Bailey Brown is in Germany, otherwise his ex-wife Marcia will be hurt. And just when that proof is delivered, the goalposts now move. Now Sam must have Bailey Brown physically brought onto the train. It's also revealed that this hijack is happening on a very specific day, the anniversary of Kai's death. Sam's son died in a car accident, which Sam believes John Bailey Brown is ultimately responsible. That changes everything. From the German authorities' perspective, this looked less like a strategic hostage situation and more like a man seeking revenge. As far as they're concerned, Sam wants Bailey Brown on that train to settle a personal score. But not everyone is convinced. Peter from MI5 doesn't fully buy the revenge narrative. To him, something doesn't add up. Sam Nelson is many things, but reckless isn't one of them. So MI5 starts digging deeper. At the same time, Danielle O'Farrell and Zara takes a more direct approach. They decide to visit someone who might know more than he's letting on, Stuart, the leader of the original plane Hijack in Season 1. Given how strategically similar this new situation feels, Danielle suspects he may be able to shed some light. Meanwhile, Marcia is completely isolated. She's staying alone at a remote cabin in the middle of the forest, supposedly on a retreat. But she's not alone for long. A man is seen watching her from his car parked nearby. A couple from the neighbor notice the car and informs Marcia that someone has been sitting outside for hours. We later found out that the man wasn't a threat. He was sent by Daniel to protect her. But before he can reach her, the couple shoot him. Those helpful neighbors were never just neighbors. They return to Marcia's cabin with the fake injury, but Marcia has already sensed that something is off. At the first opportunity, she gets away and runs into the forest. The situation on the train quickly escalates. Freddie, the same passenger Sam used during the suitcase bluff, is found murdered, killed by someone still on the train. Up until this point, Sam had managed to maintain a certain level of control. The hijack was calculated, strategic, almost contained. Freddie's death changes that. Suspicions couldn't be contained amongst the passengers. So Sam is left with no choice. He finally addresses the entire train. He tells them that he's hijacked the train, but that he's not actually in control. From that point, it becomes more about who's pulling the string behind it. But you need to watch for yourself. One of the biggest strengths of Season 2 for me is the story itself. Season 1 ended in a very contained way. The plane hijacking was resolved and the chapter felt closed. So the obvious risk with a second season was repetition. Just doing another hijacking in a different setting, but that's not what they did. Yes, on the surface, it's another hijacking, this time a train instead of a plane, but as the season progresses, it becomes clear that this isn't a copy and paste scenario. It's actually a continuation. The more of the story unfolds, the more it feels like a natural evolution of Season 1 rather than a forced sequel. Another strength of Season 2 is its momentum. The show moves quickly, there's very little filler, and each episode pushes the situation forwards in a meaningful way. New information keeps coming in, alliance changes, and the stakes are constantly being changed. That forward drive keeps the season engaging, and it rarely feels slow or stagnant. At the same time, that fast pacing that I just mentioned can also work against the show. Most of the major twists introduced in one episode tend to be resolved by the next. There aren't many long-burning mysteries that lingers over multiple episodes. So while the season feels tight and efficient, it sometimes lacks that lingering tension that made part of Season 1 so gripping. Another thing is the atmosphere. In my review for the first season, I mentioned that the real-time airplane setting mixed with how the cinematography was done helped build tension and claustrophobia. Well, Season 2 doesn't quite recreate that. Don't get me wrong, the production still feels premium, like most of the Apple TV shows. The photography is polished and cinematographic, but it doesn't add that extra layer of pressure. And Sam isn't confined in the same way. The train stops, he steps out, he moves through the tunnels, and at what point he's even inside a station's control room. The scope is bigger, yes, which works with the story, but it's slightly reduced that suffocating tension that defined the first season. In terms of acting, here are my 3 stars. In third place, Toby Jones as Peter Farber. He has a controlled performance throughout the season. The second star, Karima McAdams as Jess. She just played her ambiguity so well. Finally, the first star, Idris Elba as Sam Nelson. He still carried the show this season again. Overall, I think that Season 2 of Hijack succeeded where it could easily have failed. It doesn't just repeat the formula of the first season, it expands on it. It turned what could have been another Hijack story into a continuation of something bigger. It may not replicate the exact tension we had in season 1, but it delivers something just as compelling in a different way. As of yet, Apple TV has not confirmed a third season, but my fingers are still crossed. What do you think? Give your comment. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like and subscribe. Till next time,